Now, before you skip forward, if you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know to please like, comment, and no, I'm just kidding. I want to let you know that I'm running all this on Premiere Pro CS6. That's what I'm editing on. I know the standard or the current version is the Adobe CC. That's what a lot of people use. It's a lot easier to do a lot of the effects that I'm trying to do in CC. So some of this might seem a little archaic. You could do a lot of these effects a lot easier in the new version. This is the only version I have, and that's what I'm editing with. Something I want to say before you start is that I am not going to show you how to make one from scratch. So I'm going to go through an already completed Eva intro that I did, and I'm just going to I'm not going to like recreate how I did it. I'm just going to kind of tell you how I did it, and I'm going to show you kind of the numeric values that I use to do things, or like, hey, I did an opacity here, or here I did a cross dissolve, if you're wondering how I did that, or maybe try this. That's what this is. So let's get started. I'm going to put up a table of contents right now with timestamps where you can skip forward to the video. This is so if you already know how to do some stuff and you just want to see how I did a specific thing, you can just go to that part already. All right, here we go now. Hey, welcome to the first episode of AjakesMADE. We're going to go into how I made the widescreen Eva intro to the start of my Japan trip video, which you can find on my channel. This thing took me a very long time to make because I didn't know what I was doing, and I had to make a lot of things by scratch because the Eva intro is typically 4:3, but I wanted to make it widescreen, 16:9. I'm going to assume that you know how to do the basics in Premiere. I'm not going to teach you how to do specific things, but you should know how to, clip things and how to put effects on things, how to use like opacity. I mean, all this really is just putting in pictures at the right time and fixing or messing with the opacity. So as long as you can do that, you can make one of these intros. Pretty easy. So what do you need to make a widescreen Eva intro? Well, you're going to need a high quality version of the Eva intro. There's a lot of rips of really high quality Blu-ray versions online or whatever that you can download from YouTube. One of the best versions that I found, which I found recently is delisted, is there was a creditless version of the opening, which doesn't have any text on it, which is perfect. I think it got taken down now, so you can't even find it anymore, but I'm going to put it in Google Drive for you guys to access if you need it, along with a lot of the other little stills or background stills. So this way you can make it look like the original intro, but then put your own, flavor and stuff in as well. So that way you'll at least have all the backgrounds if you want to include your own specific things for every little like cut and moment within this. Also, I apologize if I talk slow, stutter, or ramble. I'm just stupid. No. Yeah, I can't help it. Sorry. So here's my entire sequence. I have everything loaded up. This is in my Japan trip Premiere file. There's like a lot of things in here, but you can see like right here, but we're just going to focus on the Eva intro. And I have everything down here all loaded up. There wasn't a lot, as you can see. It's just a lot of making sure things go right. I have like the original intro down here if we need to like match things up, which I do a lot. Make sure everything is going precisely. One of the things that you'll have an issue with these intros is you can't make everything frame by frame perfect, as I really tried to do in this, because a lot of the intros that you can like rip online and try to like edit with, they're all basically at like different frame rates, so it's impossible to get it right because there'll be another video that is different. So you can do little editing tricks and just extend frames if you want to try to make it as close as it can for like a comparison shot like I did here. I have these two. A lot of what I did in here, as you can see in here, is I would just kind of frame hold specific frames in here to make it like go perfect, but that's only if you're doing a comparison. Otherwise, if you're just going with it, your audience is gonna know what you're doing. They're gonna realize you don't need to make it perfect. You can just do it as good as you can. So another thing I need to let you guys know about is I will not be playing the original audio track for the song because it's notoriously hunted down online. And if you have that, you will probably get a copyright strike on it. So when I'm showing you everything, I'm not going to be using the original track. I'm going to use this funky ass MIDI version that I found in here. I mean, how sweet is that? So a lot of what this intro is basically just lining everything up with the original intro, basically. Like if we go here to any of these moments, you just turn this on and you have to make sure the Japan trip, does this line up with when this shows up at a certain time, like the frame? It's like, yes, it does. That's what basically all this is. So what you want to probably do is have the original intro at the bottom, just so you can like toggle it on and off and like check back and make sure you're going everything as close. You don't have to be frame by frame perfect, but as long as it's like close enough, it'll match the beat of the song. Because as you know, the song kind of moves fast and it kind of works with the beat of all the different things that are happening. the start, you have these rings. You can keep the rings normal. There's not much you have to do with that. Then you have this red part. The issue with the original intro is it has this little guy coming in right here. He fades in, which kind of sucks because you want to have your own thing. So I made my own background, which you can download from the box or the little package that I have. There you can just have the opacity come in, and then it slowly zooms, as you can see, in the background, just like this intro. You can see it's like zooming in the background, so is this one. And then you could just throw in the words that you have. You can see, that's where the words come in. Then we'll have like the words come in right there. And then you have your own image. Ours was a corner of a room, so that comes in like and goes down. I mean, that's all just basic tracking. You could easily track that to the image that's going right there. Boom, like that. And then this next part I had a lot of issues with. This is the one thing that I couldn't actually solve and do myself, was they have this background part. As you see in the original intro, it has just basic blue kind of in the background swirling, and then it gets to this part where there's this weird little water ripple. I could not find in the original intro or the creditless version. It basically has this little tree image scrolling by. There's no image. I couldn't find a version without that. So what I basically did was I cross-dissolved to the point where it did just have the water ripple, because that had no image in front of it. As you can see, it's just blank. So that was the one thing I couldn't actually solve, but you know, you do your best. All right, no one's really gonna care that much. So you just have that there. So you can see I dissolved twice, so it looks like it's coming in twice. You know, you do your best. And then you have your little image, whatever you want to put. You have that zoom in, and you kind of go away. Then you have your words. I mean, this is all matched up to what you need to have matched up. Goes like that, and then comes out. And then you have this little area right here where all this is boom, 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 all these like flashes and stuff. You can just use you don't need to make that yourself. Why not just use whatever they made, you know? So that's what I do, you can see. And if you're wondering how I made this widescreen, literally it's just, if you go to motion, it's just zoomed in. So this is how it originally was, and then you just zoom it into that, and then everything's fine. And then you finally get the words coming in. Now, something you want to make sure, if you want to really try to get it close to right, if we take all these off and then look at the original, you can see it goes and it starts and it has Evan and then Galleon. So Evangelion, you know, it goes in little pieces. So what you just basically want to do is you have a white background, and then you do your text. So I have the Japan trip, so it starts with the Japan and then trip, and then that's how it goes. And if you want to replicate, as you can see here, it's like all the flashing, boom, 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 boom. You see those little flashes? Why not just take those and then just put them over? So boom, 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 boom. You see it's just like more of the flashes that I put in. You can put them right over. I put them in like chopped up different versions, so it looked a little nicer. But you can honestly just like replicate. You can just drag this here and then put it there, and it honestly should be fine if you just lower the opacity down so people can see through it. I made mine 95%. And then you can see the final version. It goes like boop, boop, boop. So it's very slight and small, but if you want to get it just perfect, there's a little bit of frame there that you get boom, boom. Get it right. Boom. Right there. And then you cut to the flashes to this part where it's all different colored. It's like black and white. If you need this font, by the way, I'll put it in the description, download links to it, and also I'll put it in the folder, or the downloadable folder with all the other stuff, with all the other materials. Let's call it the materials folder, so I know what I'm calling it from now on. So I'll put that stuff in the materials folder so you have it. This part, if you look at the original, it's just basically Evangelion. And then, you know, you put just basically a black background and then your words. And then you have this going, and then this, watch. Okay, listen, on Premiere Pro, my old CS6, this doesn't really come in correctly because it worked right there. Actually worked pretty nice right there. But typically it'll like mess up a bit, and because what I have right now coming in is I have my own specific logo, just like how the original has this little blue logo come in like that and like stop. You can easily do that by just making your own logo. I think I made this in Photoshop, or maybe I did this, it is my own logo. that I made in Photoshop, and basically all I did was I'm messing with the motion and also basic 3D. So if you apply basic 3D, you can swivel it around. I don't know if it's going to be like really laggy, but you can see it's kind of swiveling around a bit when I'm doing this. With that, you can use it so you can start it off at a tilt and then slowly untilt it to where it needs to go, kind of like that. If we go frame by frame, boom, 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 right to its point. So if you just you could start off with that, and then you could, like, obviously if we take off these tints, it's just the basic text that I have that goes to here with basic 3D and then motion positioning. And then once you put a tint on it, I have like a white tint, and then I have an alpha glow because we want it to look white like it does in the original. You can see it's like kind of a bluish white, and then it has this big glow after it. Then if you just we go back, this thing, honestly, just put alpha glow. These are the two colors that I use, kind of just matching up. You have to eyeball it. And then you just kind of go, you start it in right here, and then it goes, and there's no big transition. It literally just goes boom to off. And then you see this version does not have the tint and the alpha glow. It's just setting right where it is. And then what we have here is we have little flashes of these things right when this extra lettering is coming in at the top. And these I decided to make myself. You can find them in the materials. What did I even call it? The materials folder. And these were basically little shapes that I made to replicate the shapes that come in right here. You'll see if we turn these all off, boom, you have these little things. Boom, 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 boom. You could get them frame by frame, so they're perfect like that. So I did that. I think they were just white shapes, and then I put the same alpha glow that we did with this previous one onto this. So then when we go back and we look at all this, so as you can see, now we're seeing everything. So you see like the original in the background there. It's a little jumbled, but that's exactly when those are coming in. So you just hit those specifics in the right points, and then it goes to the cut. So that should be all there if you need to make it. Put any lettering you want right there. It doesn't really matter. Make it as special as you want. And then in this part, you have, in the original, you have this background blue coming in, this blue ring. As you can see from here, you have the ring, go like that again. So what I basically did was, you can literally take the same blue ring from the start of the intro and then put it in right there. So as you can see, that's where I have it right here. I have like a break in the black, and I just put that blue ring right there. And I have it zoomed in a bit so it goes all the way through for like the widescreen. So it starts in the back and it doesn't like fizzle out too much. And then we have the last couple shocks of these little kind of crosses coming out. Boom, 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 like that. So basically, these were also, I made myself in Photoshop. They're just little, I mean, they don't look perfect, but they go so fast that it looks fine. You can find those in the materials folder. Just go there, and then you put those on to the correct beats. You can just always remember, whenever you're going through this and you're like, oh, am I getting these right? You can just toggle everything off and then go to like the bottom, and then make sure you have that toggled on, and then you can just go to the top and toggle in your small points, and it's like, okay, those are matching up. Boom, those are matching up, because if I go turn this off, you can see it's like, oh, this is matching up with the original. Boom, 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 like that. And then what you want to probably do is put all these crosses into a nested sequence. So you have them all here going, and that way, once you have them all going, you can dip to white just like the original intro does. So you see, they go like that, and then it goes into white. So it's the original intro, like that. So basically just nest all those, and then that way when they're in their sequence, you don't have to like dip the whole thing to white. You can just dip that little moment to white because it dips the whole sequence into white since it's at the top. So onto these slow intro credits where the people are looking around. As you see in the original, you have Shinji kind of looking around and like that, and he's turning. And I found a very good image or video of my friend Daniel doing that. But instead of just going into After Effects and doing it in the smart way, I didn't really know how to do that, and I wanted to do it all in Premiere anyways. So I, in the most brute force and simplistic way, I just took this image of Daniel turning his head, and then I exported it as a PNG sequence, which gave me every frame of him turning his head. And then I went into Photoshop, I went into every frame, and I cut out the area around him so it would be transparent. I do not recommend this. This took me a very long time. As you see in here, there's like 170 or 192. I didn't cut all of them because some of them were just repeat images of him, as you can see. And that took me a long time. But if you want to try to make it look like this, I'm sure there's way better like After Effects tutorials. I would follow that. But if you don't want to do that and you want to brute force it like me because maybe you're running out of time or you don't want to like give the effort to learn After Effects, this is another method that you can do. This is very time consuming, by the way. A lot of these PNG sequences that I did, they show up a lot. They took me probably like a day to do each one because I had to just kind of sit and then like, I don't know, let a podcast roll while I like clip out every image of Daniel. And you can see it doesn't really turn out that well because if you look around the way around his head, you can see it's kind of shaking a bit, you know, but it also gives off this kind of cool paper effect, you know. Looks really scrappy, you know. No, I don't know. So if you want to do that, then go ahead and do that. But I would recommend if there's any way to do it through After Effects, that'd probably be way easier for you. If not, and you're just like, I just want to know how to do this, you can do the PNG sequence like me and be very slow about it. And then once you're done, basically, just put in all the frames however you want. You know, I did this in a slow little way. I think I did it like frame by frame right here. Or maybe a couple frames so it would look a little bit slow. And then when Daniel's finally turns his head, I just kind of keep him there going until near the end, just like in the original where Shinji kind of changes his head like this. So he's kind of stuck, and then a little bit after, he's like that. I did the same thing with Daniel. Kind of change his head a little bit. So do that. Meanwhile, also, you'll have little, you'll have text kind of popping in at little moments. There's no opacity or fades. For the original intro, they just pop in, as you can see. They just go like from there to there, and it doesn't really matter. They just show up. So that you can just do frame by frame. It's very simple. Just like wait for when it pops in, and then put the text. You can write whatever you want. All the text is just random stuff that I found, and I just throw into Google Translate, so you can do that. Also, if you are doing these PNG sequence these PNG sequences for the movements of the people, and you want them to like come slowly fade in, just take the point where it's going to fade in and then make it into a nested sequence. So then you can make opacity changes to that. As you can see, I have it like slowly go up to where it is fully visible, and then you have that moment. Otherwise, just in this little moment, you can see there is Daniel again. I have like a black version. Like a pitch black version of him right there, standing, and then I have two of our friends right here, Brian and Colin. They're showing up just like in the original intro. We have the girls showing up, as you can see here. They go by right next to it. Those are just timing as well. You know, hey, flip someone, make them all black, but tint them. No, don't make them silhouettes, but just kind of tint them black, and then you can have them fade out on the correct times. So for this part, it was very difficult because what we basically have in the original is we have this big transition from this background that goes from the clouds to, well, there's a lot going on here. Let's get that off. You have like the clouds to the sun, you see in the background, and it kind of moves around. It goes to the sun and then around. So the way I got through that was basically I just made a giant kind of this is like longer than widescreen. And I followed it. I just tracked it. So it starts off kind of in the corner here, and it moves up and around and like that, kind of diagonally a bit. So you can see in my version right here, I just kind of have it tracking in the background there, whoop, and then it goes up, kind of like the original. So I'm basically, you want to do that because the creditless version kind of has stuff showing up too, which is really annoying. But basically for this moment, I just have a lot more. You can see PNG sequences of people like placing their hands down. This took forever, as you can see, coming down. And then I have your own little, like this green image of Tokyo is just coming in and then fading. That can be all done. And then you have, you know, you can find your own, however you cut them out or make them transparent around. You can just have those fade in. These are all like nested sequences basically because I just needed to do a lot of opacity changes. So I had a lot of people fading in, just like the original. As you can see here, like you have a lot of fade-ins of people going at the same time. Some are more tinted than others, as you can see, tinted black. So you just change the tints on these, I believe. And then you can see, if you ever want to know, like double click and get into these, you can see that's how I basically did it. You can see a lot of how like the PNG sequence and me like changing this in Photoshop made it look a little bad when it goes in full right here. It's kind of jumbly, but you know, people get the idea. That's all you need to really do. Then I have a still image in the background here of me, and then I have like the Lane Brown prone version of Colin, and then I have a nice picture of Dallin here, and then I have transition to the eye. Like this is all just tracking and opacity to the correct timing. You could easily all do this. Does not take that much to know how to do this, you know. All you need to know is basically how to fade things in and move them around. So there are moments in here that are really hard to replicate. I did not make backgrounds for this. As you can see in this original part, I mean, you have like, you know, all these pistons working and then like close-ups of things that are kind of going off and, you know, holding a little not joystick, you know what I mean, handle there and things going around. This is all very hard to do to like try to make my own animations for. So what I basically did was I did things that kind of would replicate these beats and try to replicate what the feeling of the intro is going for. So this is all kind of like, oh, things are starting up, you know. So for my Japan trip video, it was me like, you know, putting on my shoes, driving, and then like shots of the airport. So it's like, oh, okay, he's starting up to go to Japan. So those you can just do yourself. You'll be able to figure out what you need to put in there. Then you have these shots changing of us in the airport, not the airport, the airplane. And these are just basically different shots of Shinji looking up. You can make these close to however you want. For me, it was just shots of us in the airplane, you know. Just make sure that you're changing. You want to have a lot of help for like the opacity things you can use for cross dissolve. And that should solve a lot of issues. Instead of like, you know, you're using dimming one and then making one go up, just use cross dissolve, and then it kind of like morphs it into one, so it looks like that, and it kind of replicates how they're doing right here. See, whoop, and then it's like whoop, like that. All you need to do is use cross dissolve, and then you can even go into cross dissolve and then decide like how much, you know, the start of it, if you want to make the end any different, and like how fast you want to make the changes. You can also change the speed by clicking and dragging right here to make them a little faster, or anything you need to do. So yeah. So then you have this moment here, hello Brian, where all these characters are showing up. Something you want to make sure when you're replicating this is to make sure that their eyes are all in the same position, so it just looks really cool, like the original does. And the way this is, it's a hard cut, and then it dips to black, but it doesn't dip all the way, and then it hard cuts to the next thing, like that, and like that. You see, it doesn't dip all the way black, it gets almost there, and then it cuts right back to the next thing. So basically, that's all you need to do, have the picture, and then you start dimming it, and then boom, you cut to the next thing, dim, but not all the way. And then boom, cut the next. And you can see if I'm putting my mouse here, it's like generally pretty close, the eye. Boom, 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 like that. And this is more footage just of the Eva starting up. I don't know how you'd be able to, maybe you could like animate a replication, or if, you know, if it's a live action thing, you'll just find something that looks kind of similar. So basically this was more stuff in the airplane, and then I stumbled on this image of this woman on the screen, like moving all these lights around her like crazy, and that almost kind of replicated all the wings. So it's like, okay, that kind of gets the point across. People will understand. All right, now things are starting to get a little faster. So you have a lot of little moments here and things. There's a lot of little things that are showing up at this point. Basically, like I said in the past, it's really hard to like animate a perfect replica of what they're trying to do with the robot here. As you can see, its mouth's opening up, its hands moving, the eyes and the hand. So just find an image that looks similar to that. What I found was basically my friend opening his mouth, and then someone putting down their hand, which is very similar, eyes, and then another hand. So people kind of puts the point across. And then we get to the super fast cuts. This is gonna probably take up the most of your time because you have a lot of little things that you want to try to make perfect. So you have basic I mean, whenever the lettering shows up, black background, white text. Easy peasy. I'll put the font that you need if you need to use that in there. Then you have, like, there's a foot right here. So for this, it's my foot, you know. More lettering, and then you have, you know, spin around. I mean, that, you know, you're not going to try to find or animate that. So you're going to find something that looks exactly like that, or at least a movement that feels like that, you know. So for mine, it was my friend dancing, boom, boom, like that. Then you have these little, then you can also have the things that are easy to replicate are the 2D sections, like the pictures. So this point was the angel's face. It's kind of zooming in a little bit. I went into Photoshop and I made this Gudetama face, and then I put all these like effects on it. It kind of made it look a little bit like the angel, you know, and I have that just slowly zooming in. I mean, basically, like, if this is the original, all I did was put a green background down, and then I put the Gudetama face on, and then I just, as you can see in positioning, I'm just zooming. Zoom, 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 zoom to the hard cut. You know, and these are different little things that I made. I'll have the backgrounds, I'll put the backgrounds in the materials folder so you can basically make all this stuff yourself. What it'll basically be a lot is it'll be a background, and then you'll be able to put in, so this is just me standing here. You can put in yourself and then make that a PNG and then put it in here for the video. You see you have the Eva here, and then it's just me. And then you have these little, I mean, you can make these things if you want. This one I made specifically for my, it won't, I don't know if I'll put it in the materials package just so you can see how I made it. But that way you can kind of make your own. You know what? I'll put the PSD file, so that means you guys can make it. But also, by the way, the PSDs will be in CS6. So if you have trouble opening that up in CC, I'm sorry. You know, I don't edit in any other thing. I only have CS6. So make whatever emblem you want to have. You can put in like something else, or you can make it your own in Photoshop, put that in there. Then you have all these fast cuts. Basically, I'll give you all the backgrounds to put, and then you can put your own person in right there. This is me. Hello. So for this next part, you just have close-ups of characters within the cockpit. Use anything at your disposal to match that. I had just images of me and my friends in this Gundam Pod arcade game. Put that in there. Then more background images. I mean, that's all this really is just matching these things up. So this part you have to be a little precise if you want to make it look as good as it does, or replicate it as much as it was in the original. Basically, if we look in the original, it has this text, and then it's like kind of cutting in. The Evas coming in like that. So there's almost a cut. As you can see, basically in the version I have is I have the text here, and then there's a cut like that into my friend. So all I did here was I took these this video of my friend, and I actually just used 8-point garbage map, and that basically lets you, I'll show you, that lets you kind of like change how much you're showing of your thing. So it originally starts as a big box, and then you can just kind of like lower things in so they get smaller and smaller. So as you can see, I would zoom this stuff in a bit, and then I would just change the map to the frame. So if you look at the original, it's going like, see how it's only a couple frames, but it slowly cuts in like that. Boom, 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 boom. It's almost like 4 or 5 frames of it. So all you need to do is change the garbage map. So it kind of replicates how it looked. I'm using replicate a lot. So it kind of changes how it looks in the original. And then kind of, you see it's like zooming just a bit, the scale, just a bit. So it's coming in like that. And you only need to do that just enough until it's full, like that. And then we have this last little part with the lighting. Something you want to make sure for this part is you can see the lighting actually flashes in the original. It goes from like light for a frame, and then dark for a couple frames, and then light again. So you can just change, you know, take one and then change the lighting and then dim it a bit and then make it bright again, just like that. Then the happy picture, and then, you know the happy picture. Shinji being happy. Got a happy picture right here. And then the last part is when it shows the scrolls, I believe. You have this background, and then there's actually a frame before the text comes in, if you watch the original, or at least the one that I had, as you can see. Frame, and then it comes in. Like that. So you basically take whatever you're gonna make, and then just let it pop in a frame later. And then once it's finally done, you can see it starts to go back. I mean, the opacity starts to fade in the original. If we pull that up here, I'm gonna pull it up on the left because I might not have done this right, but you can see it's like, woo, like that. It doesn't fade out all the way though. It just almost gets there. So that's basically my very jumbled way of taking you through how I made this. Again, all you need to do is find an original version, put it at the bottom, and then just keep putting in the images that you need to match it up closely, and it'll look fine. You know, as long as you know how to track things or like move things with the motion, as long as you know how to use cross-dissolve transitions, basically those are just in effects, then you put those on. And as long as you can like mess with opacity so things are coming in, you'll be fine. You can easily do it. Then you can just use all the materials that I have in the materials folder, and then download those. You can open them up in Photoshop if you need to put things in specific places, or you can just post the PNGs and then put stuff over it. If it's for like these specific shots where it's just like a person's head, then you can put the person's head over the background that I provided in the materials folder. Now, an issue that I'm sure you will run into if you make an Eva intro and you try to put it on YouTube is that the song Cruel Angel's Thesis will be like auto flagged, and you'll probably either it's typically random. You'll either be lose monetization on the video, or what happened to me is it'll ban the video from being seen in all countries, aka rendering your video useless. You can't really put it up anywhere. You could only watch it yourself. So how do you combat that? Honestly, you can keep putting the video up and see if it gets auto flags. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, I made that Japan trip video and it kept getting auto flagged and like banning it from all the countries. And I was like, well, this sucks. So what I ended up doing was I just put ProZD's Goofy cover over that, and it was fine. But later on, I made a comparison video of the intro, and that had the original song in it. That was just flagged for no monetization. So it's a random. It doesn't really... There's no perfect way to do it. So that's kind of the shitty thing dealing with YouTube is it never really works. So what you can do is you can change it to a MIDI, which sucks because it's not really fun. Or you can change it to a different cover if you want. Or... honestly, you can set the videos to private and upload them to see if they get content flagged, or like they get flagged by the algorithm or whatever you want to say. Sometimes it's just like a trial and effort. What I do sometimes is if you are using a song, you can scale it back a bit by like speed. So you can make it maybe like instead of it being like, if it's at 100% speed, like if it was here, we go to speed duration. You can change it to like 99, 98, or 95. Sometimes that works for me, sometimes it doesn't. There's a lot of little things you do. If you do upload it and it gets flagged, you need to watch out, because there's specific things you need to do to fight it. I've never successfully fought a copyrighted thing that I have, like that I've gotten online. And I didn't know this, and I found out the hard way, but if you do fight something, if you decide to fight something and you lose, you do get a copyright strike on your account. Eventually, if you wait a couple months, it'll go away. But if you accrue 3 copyright strikes in that time, then your account gets shut down. So something you have to kind of watch out for is like, if you feel passionate about it and you want to fight it, watch out, because I mean, someone somewhere else can look at it, you read what you're saying and be like, no, and then just hit a thing, and then like you got the strike on your account and you can't do anything, and then it deletes the video too, or it doesn't delete it, it renders it basically useless. It stops it from being seen anywhere. So the best idea is to kind of roll with the shitty algorithm that flags your stuff and just keep uploading it to see if you can find a version that won't get flagged, and then put it up and then see if it's okay. So that's kind of the shitty thing that you have to do. I'm sure if you look around on the internet, you're going to find Eva intros that have the original theme, and you're like, how the fuck how are they able to put that on? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if those people were able to put it on and get monetization, or if it's on without monetization. It's so weird, how YouTube is. It's just shitty, There's no easy way to do it, and you just kind of get lucky. So my advice would be keep uploading and see what happens. Since I put a lot of time and effort into this thing, I thought I'd show you all the little jokes and specific inside references that I made into this very, very fast cut of a video, of an intro, of an Eva intro. So, I mean, these are always fun to make because like they all have like little, if you like pause it and go frame by frame, you can find so many little jokes because the Eva intro is so fast. So I thought I'd show off the little things that I did with mine and explain everything for those who don't really understand. And I'll let you know. So here we go. So first off, we have CCXAS, as you know in the video. That's our chat groups, Cornercast and Anime Skeleton, teaming up for this trip. And then I have, a lot of times you'll see Japanese text show up. The way I did that was basically I actually just took the menu items from Benihana's on the English website, and then I threw them in Google Translate, and then I took the words from that and I put them in here. So that's why they look like very, very basic, like weird kanji. That's how I did it. That's what all this is. Then I have this weird image right here. This is actually a corner from the math room that we used to hang out in because we're nerds. Then that's what's kind of fading in here. That's where we got our group Cornercast because we always hung out in the corner of here. So that is what that is. That's a corner of the room. And then we have this skeleton, which is like the mascot of Anime Skeleton, the other group. This guy is from a video that I'm sure you've seen if you watch the Japan trip. This is dancing. It's from what was that? It's like a little board game about like Bones. Don't Wake Up, Mr. Bones. I don't know what it's called, but that is just an image of him that I made blue. Project Scale right there. Project Skeleton. Who knew? Then I have the Japan trip coming in, and then I have the words coming down. I do not know what I wrote here. I forgot what I wrote in a lot of these, but you know, that's how it is. Then we have Daniel turning his head right here, coming like that. There's another version of Daniel standing right there. Then we have Brian, and Brian's looking all stern, and Colin's dabbing. They go like that. Then right here, this is actually a video of, I think it was Brian pointing out something on the stove of the house in the video. If you watch the house tour, he's like pointing out, or he's pressing buttons. That's what I actually took out, and I was just trying to like replicate as much as I can. Because if you watch in the original, it's like someone's hand coming down, like whoop, and they're sliding it. So it's like, oh, we'll just use Brian's hand. Then we have this. This is like all the, I think it's the prefectures or like the areas of Tokyo. I think I have that like coming in. Then we have Tyler and Brian, as well as the text coming up with the PNG sequences. That's why they look so funny, especially Tyler's hair here is like moving so much. Then I have, this is a image of Colin laying down. That's me in the background. I have Fly Me to Japan. I forget why I called it Bart Simpson. Why did I think it's just because it said Bart Howard, yeah. So I didn't change it to Bart Simpson. This is some Japanese name, so I just changed that to Sweary's name, I believe. And then this is, what does it say? Is it Chris? What did I write here? I have to remember what I wrote. I don't know why I wrote Chris, but it says Chris right there. That's supposed to say Fly Me to the Moon, but I changed the Fly to Japan. That is Talon. He did not come with us, so I was able to get a shot of him putting his hand up, just like Ray in this original image. She's just putting her hand up there. He's looking sad. That's where he is. I kind of made this little like fake window here, and then also that is his eye. That is Talon's eye. That's blinking right there. Talon was featured. Don't worry, buddy. We'll go to Japan someday. Then we have these quick shots. Me putting my shoe in, us driving over, and then little like shots of Japan. Of the airplane. And then we have also these slow shots on the inside showing everyone, just kind of getting everyone, who is this? Who is this fun guy? I do not know. These are all shots of us in the airplane, kind of getting everyone ready. And then this is a shot of Mark actually wearing the attire of Shinji's dad. I'm very lucky that he did that, so I can put that in there and match it when Shinji's dad is right there. So it's like, boom, boom. What's his name? Gendo? Gendi? Gombo? I don't know. Then we go. So these are all the people that we're showing right here are all the people who could not make it. They died. No, they couldn't come with us to Japan. So it's Mark, and then Talon, and then Mark's brother, and then Ryan, my brother. Got a lot of brothers here. So there's those four coming in. Then we have more Colin hanging out there. Then we have this like weird amalgamation of lights. Like I said earlier in the video, it's kind of like copies the wings of this angel spreading out. Then we have everything going fast here. This is where things are going fast. I think that's Tyler's mouth. That's Brian's hand coming down, Colin's eyes, and then my hand in the bathroom. Cornercast, name of our group. Me stepping. CCXAS02. I call it that because this is the second video I made of all of us going out. The first one's actually on my personal channel, and it's about us going camping, so this is supposed to reference that. Colin dancing. Just gotta have it. The man can dance. Gudetama, gotta love him. If you ever been in Japan, or even here, you probably found a bunch of Gudetama merchandise. That was like the angel. I just redid it in Photoshop, so it looked like him. There's me looking evil in the background of where the Eva was supposed to be. Then we have Core. As you can see, Core is one of our online friends. He was able to do a cameo in the video, so we had to keep him here. I do not know. Is this one of the stones or something in the show? The Power Stones. I don't know. But I was like, this is a perfect place to put his avatar, because his avatar is a little orb, I think from Slime Rancher or something. Little slimy boy. So we put that in there. Then we have more. It doesn't say, yeah, Absolute Terror Field. Just corner cast anime skeleton. So it kind of matches up. Then we have, this is a shot of when we were in high school. Brian had a alternate persona called Brian with an M at the end. Thought I had to put him in to match the evil character here. Evil? Who knows? You decide. So we have Brian right there. Then we have Daniel showing up again. Nothing special about that. Just kidding, Daniel. I love you. And then anime skeleton here. And then this is actually this image, because you have to match the sunset of this city. That's actually LA. We were all where we all started from. And then we have this is the shot of Tokyo where we ended up. So we have those two moments right there. This is a thing that this little winky face is what we'd post in chat a lot to annoy people. So we had to absolutely feature it, Tokyo 3, no, winky face. And then this was really hard to make. Basically, I made it in Photoshop. It's supposed to emulate the Nerve logo. So it's corner cast X anime skeleton. So basically we have like this kind of pin coming down here, and then I have half the skull. I just all cut this out, and then I made like the teeth all black, and then I made the eye black. And then you can see the names of everyone in the group: Adam, Talon, Brian, Tyler, Colin, Daniel, Mark, boom, with the period right there. Fun fact, the group, or not the group, Colin made coffee mugs with this on it and passed it out to everyone for Christmas, and it was really cool. So now we all have emblems of Cornercast and Anime Skeleton, and no one else is allowed ever. So stop asking. I'm just kidding. No one's asking. Then we have shots of me. I think that's also a shot of Tokyo for the map here. And then we have Brian, Colin, Daniel. Like I said in the video or previously, thing that kind of looks similar. That was like on the waterfront of Odaiba, I believe. Then there's Tyler, Talon. As you can see, also these are like matching the positioning of the characters, so you can see they're in the right places. So it's like boom, and then he's kind of like on the right or left there, boom, like that. Then we have this other icon. I forget what this was in the show, but it's like this kind of like upside down triangle with all the eyes in it. So I was like, okay, I'll try to replicate that in my own way. So then I have like kind of this triangle like this. Then I have 3 on one side, 4 on the other. The 4 going down is corner cast, so it's Adam, Talon, Brian, Tyler, and then on the other side is supposed to be anime skeletons, like the 3 other members. So it's Colin, Daniel, and Mark. So they're like not all in one line because they're crazy, but we're all straight and narrow. Who knows? But that's what that part is. And then luckily, there's a lot of parts with Shinji's dad looking around, and I was so happy I got just photos of Mark doing that. Lucky me. Then this part was kind of annoying to do. I had this guy looking weird, kind of in the darkness with this little eye thing. So I was like, okay, how the hell am I going to do that? Luckily, I had this image I had this video, basically, if you watch the Japan trip, of Colin with the VR mask on. So I just kind of changed it so it would look like the original there. And then I colored everything, and then I put in like the dark creases on his shirt so it looked kind of dark. And that's how I did that part. This was like a timestamp because this is supposed to follow this. I don't know if you translate it. I threw this in like Google Translate to translate everything, but it said like, we're going to go on a vacation, I'm very happy, or something. This is when we're going from, or something. This is like, it's dating it. But that probably is not all right because Google Translate's not very good. This is a stern looking man. There's my brother. The very same. This, oh my God, this image. Jesus Christ. This thing took me a very long time to do. This is a piece of chicken because the chicken in Japan is so good. I really like the chicken there. So I just kind of I replaced this And then I put the little chicken in there, and it says sample CO1 Adam's chicken. Don't eat mine. What does it say? This one, it's mine. That's what it says. And then I had like a shadow. I can show you how I did that all in Photoshop. I could probably show you right now. This did take. So I basically made this widescreen. So I stretched everything out, and then I made a version without anything in it by just kind of like using content aware to remove things. And then I changed like the names, so sample CO1 Adam's chicken. And then after that, I got this really high def image of like a chicken wing, and then basically it looked like that. And then I just put like a color overlay over it, so it looked like it was underneath this, like it was in a package. And then I put a drop shadow onto it, and then that was that. Close up of Colin's lips. There you go. This is me turning my head. In an old video that we did about crossover, I'm dressed up as Sans. It's scary. I'm turning my head there, and then we have like the part dates. We left on June 17th, and then we came back on June 24th. Then we have I Can't Believe You Done This Guy getting hit. Boom, like that. Boom, 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 boom. And then we have the shots of us in the Gundam pods. Luckily, those matched up with the shots of us the shots of the characters in their Evas. And then we have more characters showing up in the background. We have these three. This is Brian's brother's friend, and then John's brother kind of moving around. They all helped us with our fun in Japan because they gave us tips. And then we have more shots. I was actually happy how this turned out. This was like an explosion in the background, so luckily we had in the Gundam pod the glass breaking explosion happening there. And then we had this gun game where these characters are strafing with guns. So we had like, the Eva shooting. And we're like, okay, we'll use this guy shooting. Boom, 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 because we have the guns right here. And then we have this point where the Eva flies forward like that. Luckily, I had this image or this video of Colin rushing forward. So you can see it goes like that. And then I fast forward when he's rushing at me. So it's boom, like that. Then more images of Mark looking down and sternly at us. And this is Shinji crying, so I just replaced it with Brian feeling a little sick after his ramen noodles in the corner. And then we have Blade Lord finally showing up as the girl here, I forget her name, moving kind of a bit, so had to include him. And then we have, this is just a close-up of the cross there. I just used my phone for that. What does this say? Second impact, right? Yeah, second impact, second crossover, because this is the second big crossover vid that we did. The first one was the camping one. This is Brian's dog, Toby. I had this, or in the original, it has this Eva looking around, like looking up, all mysterious and evil. So I'm like, okay, I have to do that. So I had this video of Brian's dog, Toby, kind of looking to the right, like that. So I just kind of made it all white, and then I just motion tracked these two little like balls, so it looks just like the original. Like that. This requires a lot of explanation. You see, a long time ago, Brian, on an account called Waffle1800, made a video called Mario vs. Master Chief, and it got a lot of fucking views. So many views. And that was always the standard that we had to try to compare ourselves to. We always wanted to try to beat Mario versus Master Chief. None of us ever could. When I made Checkpoint, I was like, one day I'll beat that video. The video had like, I don't know how many views it has now, but it has a lot. Because he made it early on when people were searching that shit. And then like it got like 1 billion views. It's a very good video, so check it out. No. But I think I have like the time, how long it is. I think it's like 18 seconds video, and it says like YouTube photo. It's supposed to like show like the satellite photo here. So I replicated that with all the X's, and it shows like the date. I think it was uploaded March 7th, 2008 from the account, and then the timing, and then I think it says I will defeat your view numbers. And eventually I did with some of the videos that I made on Ajakes. So take that, Brian. Eat that, Mario and Master Chief. This is a video. I mean, this is a picture. This is, Ray standing there, sad, dejected, and alone. So I have a nice picture of Colin sitting next to my toilet. Crazy night, Colin. There's my brother here for this character. Just kind of like trying to replicate that. This is Colin's dog. This is I was trying to find something that matched the horribleness of the Eva, so I decided to just use Colin's dog. I stretched a lot of this, that's why it looks really horrible. So he looks like a monster. But hey, it's a great dog. Love that dog. There's honestly just a cut in this that says Adam. So, hey, that's my name. Another image of Talon, kind of looking to the side, just like her. This is like, in the original, this was just, like, what? The blood type stuff, like all the computer screen and stuff. So I just honestly used the Tokyo Metro. It kind of looked like that for, like, the map of it. Homeless guy eats crap. If you watch Mega 64, you know what's up. We have that there. Just kind of matching there. It's one of our favorite videos. There's a picture of all of us in Tokyo Disney Sea looking happy, kind of to match the group of these guys looking just so happy. Nothing happens to them, don't worry. And then we have more text, and then this going out. You know, Tyler always does the X, so we're not filming, so I'm like, that's going to be perfect. He does that. Whoop, and he zooms out. And then what are these last things? Oh, yeah. I'm sure you guys have seen this video from the wacky little video of the two guys meeting in the forest saying some things to each other. And then finally we have, I just took basically the picture of him holding the X, because in here it has just Shinji going like, oh, so it's like, okay, he's got his X, and so I replicate the light. There's me calling Daniel after a couple drinks, looking happy, just like Shinji. I actually put in, as you can see, Shinji has these little lines under his cheek. I don't know if you can see it, but I put in those lines right here. I put them in, just little lines right there. And then we have the ending part with the scrolls, and then you have the stuff coming in here. Basically, the original it says like the circle, then the stuff, and then Nas. So I have like Nas's actual, the musician, the artist. I have his name in here, and then we have corner cast X anime skeleton, and then it's like a skull with a corner. So that's what it's supposed to be. And yeah, that's the video. So yeah, that's basically a step-by-step showing what I had made, or like how I got to the conclusions. This wasn't really to try to create one from scratch. I'm sorry if you were trying to look for that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I think the main reason you probably come in here is to use the materials in the folder. Go ahead, make your own. And also, if you do make, if you're making your own, you're like, I kind of want to make this background better, and you think it's way better than mine, let me know, and then I can replace it in the folder, so we can kind of create a communal the materials folder where everyone can kind of grab and make their own, have their own background images and stuff for if they're making their Eva intro. And then we can kind of keep it going so people can make these intros. It's really fun to make these intros. It's, it's a nice little like editing challenge. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching the first episode of AjakesMADE. Sorry if this was like super long and super rambly, but I'm just not good at this. But I'm going to try anyways, because that's what I do. All right, bye.